I don't give a fuck what happened. I'm too busy worrying about me, myself, my family. And I don't care. I don't entertain it. So if you were friends with me and you're not anymore, keep my fucking name out of your mouth, bitch! Yeah. You know mama's not playing. Ew.
Hey guys, what is up? It's Berlin. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, we are going to do yet another video on Jeffree Star because, as you might be aware, if you've seen a couple of my previous videos on this, he is in a lot of hot water right now. Now, if you didn't see, yesterday this Insider article came out from Business Insider about Jeffree Star and his brand allegedly paying off somebody who's accused him of sexually assaulting them. Now, he's rumoured to have paid them $45,000. It's all come out that this guy, Gage Arthur, has received $25,000, and then another two people who came forward each received $10,000 each. So this has all come out. The receipts have been shown. The check has been shown for $45,000. All the receipts for that are in my previous videos on this, so if you want to check that out, you can do. But I also watched Emily D. Baker, who is a lawyer on YouTube. I also watched her break down the NDA between Gage Arthur and Jeffree Star Cosmetics. It's a lot, but it's good. She went right into everything, and her sort of outcome was that she doesn't think this case will end up going to court. But she did say that the source of the receipts, such as the full NDA that we've seen, the check, all of that, Sticky Drama, Chris Stone, the source of the receipts could be in trouble because an NDA isn't something that's supposed to be viewed publicly. It isn't something that's supposed to be out in the public domain. So he could well be in trouble for leaking that because he's the one who leaked it. So Jeffree has been accused of going back to 2008, assaulting this guy called Andrew Gage Arthur. Honestly, it's a mess because Andrew Gage Arthur was apparently 19 years old at the time, so that is quite young. Some people are saying he was 17 at the time, so there's still a bit of confusion over exactly how old he was at the time, because if you're 19 then you're an adult, if you're 17 you're classed as a minor, so there's still a lot of kind of confusion over his age at the moment. I don't know his exact age at the time. When I watched Emily D. Baker earlier, she also had two ages for him at the time. He was either 19 or 17 when this incident with Jeffree Star happened. So he's claiming that Jeffree Star used a taser on him. He's claiming that he was intoxicated. Jeffree Star drugged him. He's claiming that, you know, he was taken advantage of. Jeffree forced himself on him and all of this. At the moment, these are allegations. There is no proof. There's no solid proof of those things happening to Gage Arthur. Gage Arthur has, of course, retracted his statements to Insider, Business Insider, who published an article saying, oh, you know, Jeffree Star has been accused of sexual assault. So Insider went ahead, published that article. Gage Arthur had retracted his statements previously, and the two other people who were also mentioned in the article had also retracted their statements. So that was three people who had spoken to Business Insider saying they'd been sexually assaulted by Jeffree Star. But before the article was published, they then all retracted their statements. So, turned out that they retracted their statements because they allegedly have taken money. They were allegedly paid off. This we know. This is where we're up to so far. Now, we've just got up to this week seeing the check for $45,000. So, it was $25,000 that went to Gage Arthur. $10,000 each for each of the other two victims, alleged victims. So that makes it the $45,000. Yesterday I was confused about the money because in the settlement payment it said $50,000, and I was like, hang on a minute, this doesn't match up to the check. But now I've watched Emily D. Baker and she broke it all down. I fully understand it. So I'm there now. Then, of course, there is a fourth person mentioned in the original Business Insider article that came out in October. That person was Chris Avery Bennett. I've spoken to Chris Avery Bennett personally, and as I said in my previous video on this, Chris Avery Bennett has a bit of history with Jeffree Star, alleges that Jeffree Star sent her a picture of his penis when she was 15, all of this stuff, and alleges that Jeffree Star also bullied her. And honestly, I'm on her side with this. I do believe her. Her experiences that she's had with Jeffree Star do sound like something he would possibly do to a fan, because honestly, how many times have we seen fans block, or get blocked rather, by Jeffree Star on Twitter and all of this? We've seen that happen quite a lot, where a fan posts something, Jeffree Star immediately blocks them, and it's like, ends up being a thing, it ends up blowing up on Twitter, it ends up being an argument, you know. So we have seen Jeffree Star having that kind of power, kind of throwing his weight around. We've seen that on social media with Jeffree. So I'm not surprised that someone would come out and say, oh, you know, Jeffree Star harassed me on social media, Jeffree Star bullied me on social media. I'm really not surprised if somebody is claiming that, you know. Of course, we don't know anything for fact yet, but I'm just telling you, in my opinion, I'm not surprised that we're hearing this. Okay, now I have seen the full NDA documents myself, and I do have some notes here. So if I look down, then it's me looking at my notes, okay? So in the NDA, there is a part there that states, should Insider publish the article, meaning the article that came out in October, the first article that said, oh, you know, Jeffree Star's been accused of sexual assault and all of this, the article written by Kat Tembarge. Should Insider publish the article, Mr. Arthur would work together with Jeffree Star's attorneys to put out a public statement saying that basically that whole article is false, defamatory, blah, blah, blah. So, not only have they allegedly paid these people off who've made these accusations, they've also told Gage Arthur, you know, oh, okay, if this article does get out, then we're going to work with you, you're going to work with us, you're going to agree to that, to make a public statement saying that this article is all lies. Wow. After he had initially gone to Business Insider to tell his story, he's now been silenced with money and allegedly told, well, according to the NDA, he has been told, you're going to come out and say that whole article is fake if that article gets published, gets printed, which it did. So he's been told that he's got to come out and publicly say that article is false, defamatory, after he was the one who went to that publication to share his story, share his experience. But I wonder about the other two survivors, the other two alleged victims, because they each got 10,000, I was going to say pounds then, but it's dollars, $10,000 each, allegedly. But we've heard nothing from either of them yet. The only people we have heard from so far in this are Chris Avery Bennett, who is the alleged victim who didn't take the money, and Gage Arthur, who allegedly took $25,000. But Gage Arthur hasn't come out publicly yet. The only reason we know anything from Gage Arthur's point of view is because of the NDA. And because Chris Avery Bennett has also shared with me some DMs between her and Gage. I put those in a video I made a few days ago. It's a video, it's got receipts in the title, so it's a Jeffree Star Survivor Speaks, I think, with receipts in the title. So if you want to look those up, you can go and check that out. But Gage Arthur, like I said, he's been told that he's not to speak to Kat Tembarge again or anything like that. And that's according to the NDA. So he's been silenced. He's been told that if this article came out, he'd have to speak publicly. And he's had $25,000 allegedly. He was going to get more, allegedly. He was going to get a second payment of $20,000. But because the insider article came out, he didn't get that second payment, allegedly. So, this is all a bit of a mess. Emily D. Baker, in her video, when she broke down the NDA, she said she didn't think it would go to court, but it could go into arbitration. She said the NDA hasn't been violated, but she was concerned about the fact that the NDA had got out into the public domain, because as an NDA is supposed to be confidential, it's not for the public. Another thing that Emily D. Baker did mention in her video was that she thought there could be some kind of legal fallout from this situation with the NDA being shared, because Chris Stone, like I said, shared it publicly, and an NDA is not supposed to be public knowledge. Not only that, but also she thought there could be some cease and desist sent out. That is coming from a lawyer. So, there you go. But moving on, Jeffree Star, while all this has been going on, Jeffree Star has been in Wyoming. He's been at a shooting range, showing off pictures of his new gun on his Instagram. Now, I don't know about this, right? If you're somebody who has been accused of sexual assault and you've had 2 rather scathing articles come out about you, claiming that you were violent and claiming that you tasered somebody and you drugged somebody and that you had forced yourself on somebody and all this, if you had had those articles come out about you, why would you think it is a smart idea to show pictures of yourself, A, at a shooting range, shooting at targets, and B, show a picture of your new gun, being proud of your new gun? What the actual fuck? Like, that to me is insane. That to me is, you know, like, you're trying to say that these things didn't happen. You're denying these allegations. Jeffree Star has denied these allegations. His attorneys have put that in writing on that NDA. So he's denied these allegations. Then publicly, his image, what is he doing? He's making himself look like a goddamn wannabe gangster. And I'm like, what the hell, Jeffree? He looks like he is having some kind of mad midlife crisis, making himself look like a wannabe gangster. Pop, pop, pop. I'm like, really? Is this what we're doing? Because honestly, if you're trying to convince people that you're not a violent person and that you wouldn't hurt anyone, why would you go and post pictures of guns and a shooting range? You know, fine, if you went, then you went. But like, do you really need to post that on Instagram for the world to see after you have just been accused of sexual assault and tasering someone and all of this? It's not doing Jeffree Star's image any favours at all. It is making him look so much worse. And somebody around him, I think, needs to say to him, hey Jeffree, do you really think you should post that with everything that's going around at the moment? Somebody needs to have a quiet little word in his ear and say, I'm not sure that's the best look. You know what I mean? One other thing that Emily D. Baker said was that if this goes into arbitration, it all sounds like from the NDA that it is all in Jeffree Star's favour, that Jeffree Star would win, basically. So it sounds like Gage has tried to go up against Jeffree, who has all this money and power, and it sounds like, unfortunately for Gage, because these events took place a long time ago, and Jeffree Star has all this money and power now, it sounds like Gage won't come out of it well. And I hate saying that, because if you're a victim of sexual assault, you should have justice. You should have, you know, the person who did that to you should have consequences. You know, I don't think it's fair at all if this did happen, that Jeffree Star is just allowed to get away with it. No, I don't think that's fair at all. That is horrible, and it makes me sick to think oh, you know, if this has actually happened, then we've all spent money on Jeffree Star cosmetics and stuff, and like they've now just paid off somebody who is potentially a sexual assault victim. 3 people, in fact, and that's gross. That is disgusting to think that we have possibly contributed to paying off sexual assault victims. Okay guys, I'm going to stop this video here. I don't know if any more is going to come out on this situation, but if it does, I will come back and update you. So I'm going to say goodbye, take care, stay safe, stay well. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye guys.